If you're looking for a wireless video transmission system that can stream a 4K video signal over HDMI or SDI, then look no further than the Hollyland Mars 4K. In this video, I'll share some quick specs on this wireless transmitter, and then we'll do a sync test to find out what the delay is on the video signal. So if you're thinking about getting this transmitter for your live streams, stay tuned. The Hollyland Mars 4K that I have today was graciously sent over to me as a loaner by my friends at Hollyland, so shout out to all of them for letting me hang on to this for a few weeks. As you might know, if you've seen my other videos, Hollyland makes some great wireless intercom systems and recently launched a noise-canceling model, so they are no strangers to the wireless world. Coming in at just $699, the wireless receiver and transmitter come as a pair and are capable of transmitting 450 feet line of sight. They claim a latency of just 0.06 seconds, which at 30 frames for video should be only 2 frames of latency on a 1080p signal. The transmitter is compatible with 2 receivers in the event that you needed it on a production set, or you can connect 4 mobile devices with their app. Some things that I like about it include the ability to power it via USB-C, DC power, or Sony MPF batteries. It has a smart channel scanning feature to find the best channel for interference-free transmission, and due to this antenna style, we don't have any long antennas that are more likely to break during use or transit. Let's do a quick sync test to see what kind of latency we're getting on the signal. So here I have the wireless transmitter and receiver from Hollyland. They're just on light stands right here. I love how small the antenna design is. There's none of that bendy antenna, the really long pointy ones where I kind of feel like I'm just gonna break them every time I store them away. So I'm really excited to see the antennas have gotten much smaller on this type of transmitter, but also the fact that it has both HDMI and SDI is really nice as well. So this one in particular is the receiver, this one is the transmitter. So transmitter has HDMI in as well as SDI in, but the receiver has HDMI out and SDI out. So I'm doing this sync test. I downloaded a video from YouTube. It's just a sync test that was made by someone else. But the idea is there's a sound that plays and you'll also see some visuals on screen. And then we're gonna record ISOs in the ATEM. Let me walk you through the workflow so you can see how this is all set up. And then we're gonna bring it into Premiere to see what the sync looks like, how far off the recording is from the computer playback versus the one going through the transmitter. So how does this all work? My MacBook Pro here has an HDMI output. This HDMI output is just sending a second display into a decimator. You can kind of see it on the corner of the desk there. And that decimator is then taking that signal and sending it out to SDI outputs. The first SDI output is hitting the ATEM directly. The second SDI output, though, is going into the wireless transmitter, and that's sending it wirelessly to the receiver, and then the receiver is sending it back into the ATEM. So that's how we're able to test how much latency there is between the direct signal from the computer, which is not necessarily direct, it's getting converted through the decimator to SDI, but then because the signals hit this at the same time, it should allow us to determine how far off the wireless transmitter is versus the actual feed coming out of the computer. So if that all makes sense to you, I'm going to turn these on and then we're going to see how long they take to boot up, how easily they sync, and then we'll start our recording. So you can watch on the monitor right over here in my multi-viewer. This is going to show us transmitter is turning on. You'll see that blinking. And over on the left-hand side, I have my video ready for playback. So you'll see that's kind of the visual that it's going to get once the transmitters link up. And you'll see the little white ball in the middle, it kind of bounces up and down, it plays a sound, and you'll see as the dashes move across. So that's how we'll be able to line it up once we bring it into Premiere. So I've turned on the wireless transmitter and receiver. I will put on the screen right now how long it took for that to actually boot up and connect. So you'll see that somewhere on the screen. I'll tell you how much time it took, but you can see it was pretty darn quick for that connection. So right now, the first one on the left is the computer. The second one, the one on the right, this is from our wireless transmitter to our wireless receiver into the ATEM. So let's go ahead and start our ISO records, and we'll get that going on the ATEM. Now that that's recording, I am clear to go and play this sync test, and we're gonna let this run here. So we're gonna hit play. There we go. And you can actually see in the visual here, before we even take it into Premiere, it's definitely got a little bit of latency. You can see that little ball in the middle is bouncing at a different timing from one to the other. So just take note of that. And then once we bring this into Premiere, we're going to show you how far off that really is. Okay, so we are now in Adobe Premiere, and I'm going to make a new project at 1080p 30. And let's bring in our video ISO files. Now, remember the first camera input, this was our computer. So I'm just going to simply right click on this one, and I want to go ahead and rename this computer so we know which one is which. And then this clip, our second clip, I'm going to go right above it. And this one was for the wireless transmitter. I'm just going to label that Hollyland. Now you'll notice that they line up perfectly because we recorded ISOs on the ATEM, so these were recorded at the same time, but as you'll see in a moment, they do not have the same alignment frame by frame. So let me go ahead and play through this and find where we get the ball rolling. So it took us a second before we actually hit play on this video. There we go. So the first bounce, second bounce, third bounce, fourth, and fifth. All right, I'm gonna look for this fifth bounce right where the white ball over here is hitting the white line, okay? So on the Hollyland, that's right here. I'm gonna turn off the Hollyland layer and look up the computer layer. Let's go ahead and play it back. Our fifth bounce is what we want. So we play it, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, boom, right here. All right, so we can see here that this is where it hits on the computer, and it's very obvious that these are 2 different times. So how far apart are they? Let's go ahead and check. 1 frame, 2 frames, 3 frames. So our delay from the actual computer feed going directly into the ATEM versus the wireless transmitter going to the wireless receiver and then into the ATEM is going to be a delay of about 3 frames. Not horrible if you ask me, but I think this is definitely better used in a wide shot for a live stream or something where you're not seeing a mouse in sync. So you can definitely use this for cutaway shots, wide angle shots that are far away in a live stream. But just important to note that there is a slight amount of latency. I would consider this okay and acceptable, but you do also want to test this against your cameras to see if there's any latency coming out of your cameras as well, because that could have it slipping further away or in fact closer together, depending on how much that delay is from the camera and the HDMI signal going into your switcher, or SDI for that matter, which shouldn't be much, but it's worth doing a test. So there you have it, folks, the Hollyland Mars 4K wireless transmitter and receiver. If you're looking to get one of these for live streaming, be sure to use the link down below this video. When you purchase using my link, it's at no extra cost to you, but I do get a small thank you for the sale, which helps me fund being able to keep the YouTube channel going and also making these videos. Last but not least, if you like this video, hit that subscribe and like button so I know to make more videos just like this. See you next time.